Hi, I'm Reed Pettengill. I'm here at Durastill in Kansas City, Missouri. Today we're going to show you how to unbox a 40-liter storage tank. This is 40 liter is actually 10 gallons. Just like all the other things you get from Durastill, it's double boxed so it won't be damaged in shipping. So I'll show you how to get that out. You cut the tapes and open it up. You open up all the flaps and tip it up. You tip it up again and pull the other flap around, and then you can just raise this box up off it. Maybe. I don't know why that's stuck. There we go. It's got to get air in there to come off. I got some suction. There we go. Now you take the tank out. This is exciting to see a 10-gallon tank because they're so pretty, and they have a nice set of legs and casters that go with them. You take out your legs. It's come in a package wrapped in paper to protect everything. And then you get your tank out. Pull your casters out. On both sides. Then you get your tank out. They're very well boxed. Now that's a 10-gallon tank, and it has cardboard bolted onto it, so you take your nut driver and you undo the nuts that holds the cardboard on. So you undo these nuts that's holding the cardboard on, which is packaging. And these are galvanized washers and nuts. I save these nuts and bolts because they bolt the casters onto the bottom of the machine. What you'll put back on here is stainless steel nuts and washers, so they'll never rust. And they're provided in the packaging. And there you are. That's one side. You do the other side. And there's your tank. And keep it right there. Here's all your nuts and bolts. Here's your instructions. It shows you how to put all the parts onto the tank. The first thing we do is get the legs out and the cross members. And they're wrapped up so they won't get scratched. And what you get in each one of these packages is you get a bottom plate that goes right on here. You get a top one that goes right on here. You get the legs that go here. And you find the stainless steel washer. These stainless steel washers go right on these bolts that are welded into the tank. And the nut has a cap on it. Really a pretty finish. Once you get that on, you just tighten it up. And it looks just like that. You do that 4 times. So you find the other 3 washers. And you stick them on. The other leg, you'll notice the short part of the leg goes to the top. Like that. So I have to open the other package. So it's got 2 right hand legs in the one side, so I got to open the other package.
These would be awesome after we get the distiller. We can just send them a video and they can know how to put it together.
Yeah. It's best to open up both sets of legs because there's left hand and right hand parts on each side. And you find the other leg that corresponds with this side, because it'll have holes on this side like this one does this side, so it's just a mirrored image to it. Then you put on another washer on this side. Just like that. You get your other stainless steel nut on there. And that's pretty. We'll put the last one on the bottom. Now we'll snug those all up with a nut driver. And we'll turn it around and do the same on the other side. It's nice to have a table you can hang the legs down over to do this with. Or you can just tip it on its back like this. And you do just what you did on the other side. I can't do it that way because the table's too narrow to hang these legs down over the other side. So you put these on the same way as you did the other side. This one goes on the bottom. You locate your 4 stainless steel washers and nuts. You put them on just like you did before. Snug it up a little bit. Put the top leg on. Everything fits so nice. That's really hard to do when you're welding stainless steel tanks together and keep it all from warping and being out of line, but these guys do a perfect job at it. Snug them up. Now we're ready to tip it up on its legs. You want to remove this nut that's on the lid.
Customers on the phone, you'll send them a code, and I got the phone number. I don't know if you can get through 1108-11. She said she's ready to get those machines.
And you replace this nut. You screw the cap on the nut. You don't screw it clear down tight. And then there's a cross member there that holds the lid on the tank. So you continue tightening the cap down till the lid comes tight, and then you're sealed. That keeps everything out of your water. Remember, when you unpackage your distiller, you need to unwrap this foam tape that's around your float switch in your tank. If you don't do that, it won't shut on and off. Take it clear off, and then make sure that you can hear the switch turning on and off, and it slides freely. So it didn't get bent during shipping or anything like that. Okay, the next thing we're going to do after we reach this point is unwrap the casters and cut the tape. This really makes a nice setup for a 10-gallon tank. It's really modern looking. It's really beautiful. You raise the distiller up and put these legs right there like that. Now what you do is you just raise one side of your distiller up and line the holes up with that and kind of set it there and keep it balanced. Turn the wheel so it'll hold itself there. And then you might be wondering what this angle's for. It slides in here like this, and that's a cross brace. And you take a bolt that goes up through the bottom. Okay, you take a bolt and you push it up through the hole in the bottom, and you get it through the angle iron here, the cross member. You hold that there and you put one of your washers that held the cardboard on top of that nut. You take your other cross member and you put it in right there. Line it up. Take another bolt and push it up through the bottom. And line it up with the leg and the cross member. Put a washer on it. These are the washers and bolts that held the cardboard on the side of the distiller when you unpackaged it, so don't discard them. You tighten that down kind of snug because we've still got to line the other side up. You don't want it really tight yet. Now we'll move over to the other side after we unpackage this next set of casters. Everything's so nice and shiny and beautiful. Now what we do is raise this side up, set it right on top of the casters. We already got our braces in here. We just take another nut or bolt and shove it up through the hole. Line it all up. Put another washer on. A nut. Just get it started. Okay, we put a bolt in the back side just like in all the others. Comes up and we put a washer on it. And we put a nut on it. Now we got them all on, we can tighten them down tight. We'll grab our nut driver and just tighten them all up. And there you go, you got your casters on. Okay, when you get to this point, you got your casters on. The whole thing's very easy to move. You can move it with two little fingers. You got your brace on the top of your tank and on the bottom so all the welds don't show. And you got your leg going down here. It looks like one continuous piece of metal. And as far as the tank goes, it's really beautiful. You got your cross braces on down here on top of the nuts, and your legs are on. So the next thing we do is we set it down on the floor. You take the lid off by unscrewing this knob. It goes sideways and cocks it up so you can get it off. You unpackage the spout. This is a really nice spout because it has a sight glass in it, and it shows you the level of your water in your holding tank. There's a square plastic knob on the top of it, and that secures the sight glass to the top of the tank. Just like all the other faucets on these tanks, you put the rubber gasket on the outside over the threads until it goes to the back. That's far enough. Okay, the thing you do is you put your faucet into the hole. And then this is the hardest job of all, getting your hand in the hole and your arm reaching down there, but I got a very big arm. And you put the nut on the back side of the faucet. Get it started. Make sure you get it started without stripping it or getting it cross-threaded. You get it down here like this, and then you raise it up and tighten it. You make sure you can get it tight enough that it makes that seal. Do not tighten it up so tight with the sight glass you break the sight glass off. You want to turn it just like that on the bottom with your hand. And now the nuts on the back, really good. raise this plastic key or lock up, whatever you want to call it, and you slide it into this groove right here on the tank. That locks in the sight glass, and now you can see the level of the water inside your tank, your holding tank. And this is where you spigot out your water out of the little faucet. Now we just reinstall the lid and tighten it down. You lift up on the lid as you tighten it. And that brings it into so where it's tight and it secures that lid on there. You find this little piece of flared pipe. It's got a flared end on it here and a straight end here. And you insert it into the hole in the top of the tank and let it sit there until you get your distiller on. And then I'll show you what that's for. Okay, we put the tank back up on a table so you can see what we're doing here. Okay, what you do is you take your distiller, some help with somebody, you line up all the nuts and bolts and they go together. Make sure it seats down inside like that so it comes together. What you want to do is make sure these bolts and nuts go inside the hole in the top of that angle iron and it seats down. It sits flat just like that. Beautiful. It's a beautiful fit. Now you turn it around to the back side. Now that steamer tube we put in the tank goes up onto the pipe where the distilled water comes out of, and that's how you steam clean your tank. You just plug it in now, fill it with water, get it boiling, and turn your fan off. When you turn your fan off, water doesn't come out of here, steam comes out of here. And it'll heat your tank up, and it's the same as autoclave. Now you know the distiller doesn't plug into the wall, it plugs into the float switch, which is on top of your tank. I've had people plug this into the wall and their distiller leaks, and they wonder why. Well, it never shuts off. And then you plug this into the wall. Here's your float switch, and it turns the water on, the distiller on and off. If the tank's full, it shuts the distiller off. If it goes down a little bit, it turns the distiller back on and makes the water it needs to fill up that 10-gallon tank. Now with the steamer tube in the tank, you want to have it automatically fill, but what you want to do is turn the fan switch off to the off position. And in about 25 minutes, the boiling chamber will be boiling and you'll be pushing steam into this tank. After it gets hot, let it stay hot for 10 minutes. That'll kill any bacterium, virus, or parasite that's in that tank. After the tank has been hot and steaming for 10 minutes, you turn the fan switch back on and it'll immediately start making water. After you've run your distiller for approximately an hour, after you've cleaned it, drain that water out. Drain that first half gallon to 3/4 gallon of water out. Doesn't even hurt if you run a gallon of water out. Discard that first water. Now with your fan switch off, the distiller blows straight steam into the empty tank. With the fan switch on, it makes water. It cools the steam into water. So what we want to do is sterilize this tank, so we will leave the fan switch off, which will cause this tank to heat up the same temperature as boiling water, 212 degrees. By doing that, we just simply switch this fan switch off, and then it blows steam. After the tank's brought up to temperature, the thing you do then is you wait 10 minutes and let it cook for 10 minutes. And then you turn on the fan switch. It immediately starts cooling the steam, so everything will start to cool down immediately. You'll start making water. It'll be hot at first, and then it'll cool right down to room temperature. And then you insert the filter. Never put steam through a filter, it ruins it. So after you autoclave your distiller out, you clean your steam clean your tank, your new tank, you put a filter in line. Okay, after you've steamed your tank out, you remove the steamer tube by pulling it down, and then you just caulk it off to one side and pull it out. You have your filter ready, and you slide it in. And you put your poly tube up on the distiller outlet. It's really important to not ever run steam through your post filter, so make sure you always have your fan on from now on. After you get your poly tube back up on there, you bring your clamp around and you tighten your clamp up on that fitting so that it doesn't come off. And then because you have your elbow there on your filter, you stick it down in the hole and you flatten out the washer, and then you peel the sticky back off this clamp that holds the filter in, and you stick it right there, and then you're ready to go. You might wonder what this long tube is for. It's to drain your boiling chamber. It attaches right here and it goes up into there. Make sure you fill it, go clear up in, and then you tighten up this compression fitting. It's a 5/8 nut, and you tighten it up till it is secure on your drain tube. Now this drains your boiling chamber. You can kind of flare this out into something to catch it. And that's where all the stuff comes out of your water when you drain your boiling chamber.